Hello and welcome to the Art of Costume podcast. I am your host, Spencer Williams, and thank you so much for joining me for another bonus episode. Hey costume nerds, so good to see you all. I'm excited to be here today to talk about another one of this year's exciting Emmy nominees in costume design. And of course, we're here today to talk about Dune Prophecy, a show that you should all have rightfully assumed that I, of course, am in love with because I love everything Dune. So I was so excited to talk to costume designer Bojana Nikitović about the costumes. You all know Bojana from a lot of incredible work such as Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, The Forest, Underworld Blood Wars, Voyagers, The November Man, and she even worked as an assistant costume designer on A Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou and Marie Antoinette. I mean, these are some incredible films. And of course, Bojana is a 2025 Emmy nominee in Outstanding Fantasy Sci-Fi Costumes for her work on Dune Prophecy. And of course, earlier this year, Bojana also won the CDG Award for Excellence in Sci-Fi Fantasy Television. I'm such a big fan of Bojana. After this interview, we actually got to hang out a little bit more. I ended up interviewing her at that incredible Sketch the Screen panel with HBO Max and the HBO Originals, which was so much fun. And I know you're all going to love her. So please join us after this break as I talk to costume designer Bojana Nikitović about the costumes of Dune Prophecy. I am so happy to welcome Dune Prophecy costume designer Bojana Nikitović. Hello, how are you? It's so good to see you.
Oh, good. Good to see you too. I'm good. Just arrived 2 days ago to LA and ready to leave tomorrow, but good.
Oh, you're leaving us so soon.
Yeah,
Well, you did get a little bit of LA sunshine for a little bit, but
exactly. Yeah.
you're on the road again. Well, it's so good to meet you finally in person. I was so thrilled to be at the Costume Designer Guild Awards this year, and we were so thrilled to see you walk away with the award for excellence in sci-fi fantasy television. I just want to know, what was going through your mind when you were on that stage in front of all of your peers with that award?
I mean, it was one of the most exciting moments for me. I really didn't expect it. And I didn't even prepare anything. I asked my son, who speaks English much better than me because he lived in the States. He went to high school in the States and everything. And I was like, let's prepare. When I was nominated, I said, let's prepare something. And he said, no, why would you prepare? You just say, if it happens, you just say thank you to the crew and et cetera, et cetera. And then, I find myself on that stage and I'm so overwhelmed with the emotions and everything, and I'm not prepared, but I mean, it was really good. I'm so glad, not for only for myself, but for the whole crew, because I know how much they, all of them worked hard, and we are really a team. And there is a nice thing that I noticed. Each person, each costume designer or designer who got the award that night said thank you to the team. That means that we all really appreciate the work of our collaborators and whoever is the part of a costume team. It is a teamwork always. Yeah.
Right. I mean, a lot of people just think that there's just one person at the top who's designing all, 2,000 of these costumes. But when you're designing, multiple worlds in a series such as Dune Prophecy, I mean, it takes a literal army to design an army.
Yeah.
So you, of all people, know that better probably than anyone.
Yeah. We had like a small, not even small, but like a factory that was producing nonstop hundreds of costumes. I must say myself, I'm very control freak. I like to be involved in everything, maybe even too much. I'm very difficult in letting things go, but I when I'm sure that something is good, then I let it go. So, yeah, I'm glad that now, in last 5 years, 6 years, I have a team of like 20, 30 people that I almost always, when we have a big project, we are always working together, and I really trust them. They are textile artists, they are metal artists, leather masters, and and of course my closest collaborate, my assistants, and those are people that I really trust. And it's so good when you can rely on someone else's talent as well. When you give the idea, but then you know that there will be someone who will make it real, and who will add something else, something good, something new to make it even better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it definitely comes through in your work, and it's just so incredible. So I think we should just jump into it. I'll just admit I'm a big Dune fan. I love Dune. I love the books. I love the movies. I love the show. I love the characters, the lore. I mean, I could go on and on about it. So I'm very excited to talk to you. Dune Prophecy is a series that takes place 10,000 years before the Paul Atreides story that a lot of people are probably familiar with going into this series. So but still very much set in the future. So it's almost like you're doing a futuristic period piece, which is kind of a hard thing to wrap your mind around. I can't think of many other, productions that have kind of done that. So how did you wrap your mind around that aspect? What sort of research are you doing to make this Dune universe feel a little bit more period, but still something far in the future from what we know?
Yeah, it's a far future for us, but it's
Yeah.
still period for what we saw in the movies. And movies has made such a success, and visually they are fantastic. So it was quite tricky and difficult to create our own world, but it was. I think there I relied a lot. First of all, reading books, getting into the world. I read some of the books when I was young, but I needed to read especially I wrote the Sisterhood, Mentats, and Navigators again, because they are related to our story. And it was a great help. I mean, from Alison Shapke, who in Jordan, they really helped a lot. A lot of Zoom meetings, a lot of drawings. If I only a few months ago, I was cleaning like my photos and things, and when I saw all the drawings for different. If you would only see what we started from and where we got, it takes time and it takes a lot of work and a lot of new ideas to get to the point that we say, okay, this thing we like. Let's go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to wrap your mind around. But then, so let's talk about the Sisterhood, which will later become the Bene Gesserit. It's an order of deep lasting influence in the Dune universe. So I'm curious, what sort of influences and research guided your vision for this ancient yet forward looking group? Like, what were you looking at to really prepare yourself and design a costume specifically for, the veiled sisters that we know?
Yeah, if I would go through the references that I pull out, it would be everything from medieval paintings to fashion shows to all the different kind of headpieces that could be the inspiration for their look. But first of all, we were I must say, first I was thinking about the Sisterhood and the uniform, let's say, for the Sisterhood, making novices, acolytes, reverend mothers, and then Crusades look. And it was then not only that you have to make a look that will and a silhouette that will remain very recognizable for the audience, but at the same time you have to make something that the shape, the silhouette that will look good on a different body types. You have to choose the fabric that will look good on a camera, that will move good in front of the camera, and also the fabric that will be good for the kind of embossing that we were planning to make and that we made. So all these things, and then to get the quantity, that was the big issue, because you think, okay, now we have now we know what it is, we have the shape, but now you have to get thousands of meters of the same fabric. So it was a real issue, I mean, to get that. We have one factory working nonstop for us, and I know that there was a summer break at a certain time for them, and we were we have to get these last 600 meters, to
Summer
produce more
vacation's
costumes.
canceled.
So yeah, it's really tricky. And then for the True Sayers look, the collaboration with Anna Forster, our director, was really important because she wanted that veil that will have some kind of pattern, but still the camera would be able to see through and see the eyes of the actresses. And then we got that idea to make this laser cut and to apply this laser cut on the organza, silk organza, and we got that. But it's not. It's like it's a process to get to that point and to make that design. That will be our design for that pattern. So it was all step by step. But when we got to that, we really liked it, and then we created the long hats, high hats, and continued with all kind of pleating that we made by hands, and it was a long process, really. Yeah.
So then, like you mentioned, though, we have the acolytes and the truth sayers, but then you have Mother Superior Valya and Reverend Mother Valya Harkonnen, who are a little bit more put together, I'd say, compared to everyone else. So how are you able to make their looks feel a little bit more distinctive, but still very within the same realm of the rest of the Sisterhood? I mean, it's a lot of the same colors, but you could just tell that there's a little bit more of a polish to Mother Superior, so to say, because she's Mother Superior. So how did you make that happen?
Yeah, especially for Valya, it was so important that when she comes to Salusa Secundus, and when we see her entering for the first time, she has to make that, we have to say, who is the,
Yeah.
look at this. So her cape is one of my favorite pieces because it has this printing, it has this fabric that I really like, the way that it moves, and the veil and the headpiece that we put to make the whole look, and the big hood. So I think that helped a lot. Also, her costume is a little bit more elaborate, especially that costume when she travels. We wanted to show that, now she is on a mission, and now she's it's not like another ordinary day in the Sisterhood. Now she's traveling to accomplish something. So it was a great help from directors, from Alison and Jordan, to always help us and push us to go even further. And I remember first time we saw it was without the cape, or the cape was small or something. And I talked to it. I said, I don't think this will work. This is the right thing. And then we do it, and it was really worth it because we just need when you're working a big job, working on a big job like this, you don't have enough time ever. You're always missing another day or two. And this kind of costumes are something that you cannot make in a day. It's a process, and all this hand printing and hand thinking. You need time to dry, time to, it all takes time. So sometimes you are just anxious to get things ready, but finally we managed to do that right. And with Olivia, with Tula, she has almost absolutely the same costume like the others, but I think the way she's wearing things and the way she's
true.
Really amazing. Yeah.
Right. It really is about the way you wear it. And, same for Mother Superior. She walks into a room with that costume, and you just know, like, oh, she's the one that's in charge. That's the commanding presence of the Sisterhood.
Okay. I remember. Sorry to interrupt you. I remember when Valya, when she put the costume for the first time, and she was like, I know how to, the way she started to walk and everything, it was like amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure. I need one of those. So one trend I'm kind of picked up from talking with you, but also just watching the show, is I feel like textiles played a big role in your work on this show. It's almost like the fabrics kind of told their own story. Textures, lots of textures. Would you say that's a fair assessment that textiles really played a big role in
Yes.
Dune Prophecy?
And I'm so happy that everybody's saying that, because that was my main thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we have to get the textures, because you can't use on a project like this, you can't use textiles that already have some kind of texture that are recognizable for the audience.
Right.
At least that's my feeling, because immediately it ruins the image of them. So we were literally working on making our textiles with the textures. And when we started, I was making drawings with Illustrator, and I really didn't know how we are going to get there and how we are going to make this. For example, on Emperor Corrino, we have those textures on his coats, and I really didn't know how we are going to make it, but I knew what I would like to get. And then when I talked with my assistant, who is really brilliant in everything. He knows how to make many things. And then the leather master, and they showed me. For them, it was a new thing also. But then they say, "Oh, we think that we can do it this way and this way." And then we cut the leather, then we press the fabric on the top of the leather and leave. And when it came out, I was like, "That's it." Of course, it took us weeks, because you are gluing something on a very delicate fabrics. There's all silk, so glue usually comes out. So there were many mistakes before we got the right result.
Yeah, I mean, and I think especially too, like with the Sisterhood, where they're very much wearing dark colors too. I mean, I'm someone who wears only black, all black. I can just see on camera, I'm just looking like a black blob. So I feel like, especially with the Sisterhood, it's a very dark environment too with the black fabric. So that's when texture and textiles is really going to play a big role to help them stand out in their environment too.
Yeah, that was so important. I mean, and also this embossing that we put here, because most of the time camera is on this. So it was important to get some movement, to have some movement here. So this was another thing that we were searching and how we want to do it. And we did these printings, but then by chance, I saw the back of the printing. I said, the back looks better than the front side. So we actually used the back of that printing for all the things that we have on a Sisterhood. And it's all, I like the fact that we did it in our workshop, all done by hand from our textile artist or the other. So I think it shows at the end.
Yeah. Well, let's switch gears a little bit to the political sphere. You were just mentioning Emperor Carrino, played by the great Mark Strong. He governs the Imperium, and his house embodies both ceremonial regality, I would say, but also still has a distinctly military presence at the same time, too. So what was your approach to designing for him, but just also the Carrino lineage around him, that legacy?
Yeah. I think that was important also to show where we are, to show that it's a system that the emperor represents the whole thing, the whole environment there. And you can see, I think it's also in the production design, the way that has been made, the grand hall and the rest of the palace. It shows that there is a hand behind it, strong hand behind, even though Emperor maybe is not the strong hand himself, but he is coming from from the family, from that. And it's in his look, it was important to show that as well. At least he wants to show as if he's really strong and knows what he's doing, and he's the emperor of the universe. But I mean, also his imperial guards around him, everything around him, it has that military look. Even his wife is, strong and very, in her look, I think we wanted to show the similar, that they're a couple that looks similar, that has the same mission, and she's another strong woman next to him. Sometimes I think she was making decisions in his name, but that's what we saw.
Yeah, that's a whole different podcast.
Yes, yeah.
Well, one costume I knew I was going to meet you at some point after I watched that first episode. When we saw that engagement dress worn by Princess Ynez, I was like, oh, I got to talk to her. As she meets her young husband in this arranged meeting, that stunning red gown. I mean, just how was that constructed? It is gorgeous, beautiful. I need prints of it, illustrations, all the things of it. It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I was thinking today, knowing that we will talk, I said probably we will talk about the dress. I mean, there were like, I think, hundreds of drawings for that dress, and many versions, and we couldn't find the fabric, that it was so important. And I'm kind of this, I think that fabric is 70% of a good, when you have to have a good design and a good drawing and idea, but when you make a mistake with the fabric, it's so difficult to make it look good. So it was so important to get the right fabric and to make it real. When we finally had the design that we were all very happy with, and we were going on and going, and I knew that we wanted that some kind of laser cut applied on the other fabric, etc., but I wasn't happy, and I mean, we had the silhouette, we have everything, we had the petticoat made and everything, but not the. And then finally, we got that one layer applying laser cut applied on the other layer of a silk, and finally we got that, and we were playing with the shadows and applying that silk in a different direction, so it will move differently in the camera, so that you will see that pattern. It's difficult to explain, but when you would see in real. It's that's how we got that texture on that fabric, and then we were supposed to do the upper part, which again, I mean, I wanted to make that net, or that like a spider, or like a prison there she's in. So we started adding this pieces. It was all very delicate. It was, thank God I had an assistant that had almost identical measurements like the actress, so we could. We were sewing the pieces directly on her, and then it was veil, and the veil, and which color. Originally, it was a skin color veil with the red pieces, but then we understood that this skin color, even though it was a very thin silk tulle, it was covering, our dress wasn't red anymore, so it has to be a red veil with the red. So little by little, and then we had that headpiece, which took like a time to make it. To look good and to be very easy to take. She was supposed to take it out in the scene and to throw it, and take it, and also to be comfortable for the actress to wear it. So but on the end we were all happy with the result, and I'm glad that the audience liked it.
Yeah, I mean, there's just like a lot of subtle storytelling too. I mean, she's being put through this arranged, marriage, but she's also hoping to be part of Sisterhood. There's just like a lot of expectations kind of being forced on her. So in ways, it's almost like she feels a little bit like she's trapped a little bit. I mean, would you feel like that's kind of like what the story you're telling with the costume?
Good. I'm glad that you have noticed that you feel like that, because that was the idea. For me, it's not always about the beauty of the costume. I really like when costume works for the part and for the scene, and that's the main thing. So if we manage to do that, then it's perfect.
Mission accomplished.
Yes.
I mean, because it's true. I mean, like, sure, of course, it's gorgeous, but you have to also think about the character's feelings that are underneath all of that dress. So, sure, it might look great too, but it's a really hard, difficult day, and spoiler alert to anyone who's listening, but it also doesn't go very well either.
That's, and also I must say it's photographed so well. When she comes in, and that's. shot from the back and everything. It really helped. And she was, she was so nice. She was wearing like I think 20 centimeters heels, with with a big from, and she managed to stay in it like for
Oof,
I don't know
what a
3
hard
4
day.
days, how long we were shooting, and we were like very grateful for that. But it was important, especially
Sure,
to
everyone was holding
even
their breath too.
comparing to the boy, to
Yeah.
make that.
Well, we just got two more questions for you. We're almost near the end. Desmond Hart enters the story as a bit of a rogue, a character who feels like a rebellious outsider, but he also has kind of like a rock star feeling to him too. He's a bad guy, but like in a cool way too, you know. So how did
Exactly.
you approach his costume to make him feel completely like an outworlder compared to everyone here at in the court of the Carrinos?
Okay, that was what you are saying is exactly what I would like to hear, because if you wanted him to be totally now comes someone who doesn't have anything to do with anyone, you just see that, who is this guy now? And again, the way they shot that scene from when he's coming with the coat open and
Yeah.
it's flying on the wind, and said, who is this guy now? And again, to make this coat, we have several versions and several fabrics that we tried, and then finally we found this fabric that I really liked, but it takes time because it's a fabric that it's waxed, and then you have to take wax out of it to make it move well. So it took time for
Right.
our breakdown artists to do that. But then when you do this, that fabric really looks ages well when you can distress it well when it's and make the good impression. So that was and also we wanted it to look good open, but also when he closed it up to give the good silhouette. And then when we finally was happy with that, we made our insignia for his, because he was a part of the guards of the army, and so we then we liked the silhouette so much, all of us. So we decided when he becomes Bashar to make the black version of it that looked even better on Trace. So it's I think it's always about what I'm thinking. Those are the characters that you have to remember as a silhouette. When you think of Desmond, you think about that silhouette, about that long coat, and somehow it's recognizable. And I think what we were talking about before, it's so important that costume works for the character, not only that it looks good.
Right. Yeah. It's like you want to not like this guy, but he looks good at the same time too. So you just can't help it, like just really being fascinated with his story the whole time. And one of my favorite parts of the series, I'm really fascinated by the breakdown of costumes and making things look aged and dyed. And we have these great flashbacks to seeing the Harkonnen family when, Valya's younger. And you really see these Harkonnens are really down on their luck and just kind of getting by. How did you make them feel different? Like they were the Harkonnens that we know, but also still feeling really down on their luck.
Yeah, that was the hardest part, because we have from one episode to another to create completely different worlds. And
Yeah.
Harkonnens were one of my favorites, because we could do something completely different from the rest of the series. But the thing is that for this job, we almost didn't rent any costumes. All the costumes
Wow.
were made. So it was like, and when you make them new, even though then you need time.
Right.
So I'm glad that you said that you like the breakdown, because I've been working with the same team for, I think, more than 10 years. And I really trust them, and the way they treat costume. First, there's not one piece of fabric that we used without first dyeing or doing something, with it, and then we start aging it. So the way they worked on making this whale fur or whatever, creating these new textures again, it was amazing. And the quantity of costume that they were supposed to make breakdown on, it was like we were just fitting the extras and giving if you would see, those were new costumes, completely new costumes. And then when it comes from their room, it's a totally another world, another story. It's amazing what they can do. Really.
Yeah, it's I can't even imagine. Costume designer Bojana Nikitović, this has been such a pleasure. I'm so glad I got to chat with you. I love Dune Prophecy, and I just can't wait to follow along with you and see what you're doing next. And I really hope you'll join us, and I hope everyone listening will. If you haven't seen Dune Prophecy yet, go back and check it out. It's such a great show. So dark and alluring, and I'm actually on my third rewatch right now, so I'm gonna be watching it again with a whole new lens after talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure. Thank you.